Do you ever look at your old artwork and go, oof, yuck, why'd I make that? Well, in this video, I'm going to be discussing some reason why your old artwork is actually worthwhile and an essential part of your creative process. While I'm talking about this, I will be working on a piece from just under a year ago that I filmed while getting ready for Inktober that I was not happy with. It has been cringeworthy for me to look at, but in this video I'm going to discuss why, like this piece, like your old work, like my old work, our old stuff is still valuable. So, for the first reason that your old artwork is valuable is it is precious. It shows your progress and a stage that you were at that time when you made it. Sometimes when you look back, you get embarrassed, like I mentioned, because it doesn't match up with what I think I could have done and where I know I am now. But I'm personally learning to love it because it shows me what I was capable of at that moment of time with my skills, with my capacity, with my emotional level, with the situation I was in, with the materials. So instead of beating myself up over my old artwork, I can look at it as that was a stage in time, and where I am now is not where I used to be. And that shows you that you have progressed and that you're moving in the right direction. Looking back at old artwork and seeing where I've come also helps me look at my artwork now and say, oh, this isn't bad. By looking at your old artwork this way, that this was what you were capable of at the time, and that doesn't make it bad, it means it's progress, also has helped me look at my current work as though this is progress, because even my best stuff now isn't going to be as good as I think it is several years down the line, but that doesn't mean it's any less valuable, because the whole creative journey that you go on as an artist builds upon itself. Every piece is essential for getting to the next step in your art, just like everything in life leads you to the next step in life. And secondly, with old artwork, is it can inspire you and remind you why you make art. Because sometimes when we get involved in making our artwork, we lose sight of what really makes us excited. We might look back on an old piece and be like, this isn't up to the standard, but you drew that for a reason. Maybe it was a commission and you don't really care about the subject matter, but there are parts of what you put down on a page that show who you are and what you value, what you emphasize in a drawing, what you care about, what style you use, all can speak to what you value. Now, if you're in school, that's a little bit different sometimes because you're learning techniques or you're asked to do a specific project, but still within those parameters, you can look back and see, this was valuable to me and I focused on this, and then give it a little bit, give it some thought, and then you can be like, because I really enjoyed, flowers because I connected to that as a child. Or I really found value in doing hyper-realism because it's something tangible and solid. Something tangible and solid that I can connect to in the midst of a ton of chaos. There's plenty of reasons that you could be really into art that you've made in the past that can help you inform why you made that at that time, and that further informs what you're making now, and it can inspire you as you look back and see what you really loved and enjoyed and where you've moved towards now. That kind of combined my second and third points, actually. So it's inspires you and it also shows your progress. So, okay. In addition to that, your old art also not only provides you insight into what you enjoy making, it can also help you build on what you're making now, because if you look back at your old artwork and you see that you took time to learn this specific skill, and this is how that progressed. Say you've been drawing hands, and it was really difficult for you to draw hands, and you've come to a certain point. Looking at the progression of your old artwork from like really old drawings of hands to the new drawings of hands, you can get an idea of how you did that. So you can look at your artwork and go, okay, when I looked at it like this, when I did studies of the hands like this, it helped me progress faster. Maybe you were studying musculature, or spending extra time looking at hands before you drew them, or you had some sort of epiphany that was triggered by something. And once you realize how you progressed in that area, you can take the time that you learned that technique and expedite it, kind of like make your learning of a new skill more efficient, so you can apply it in another area of your art making if you need to learn something new, which we all need to always continue learning new things in our art. That's how our art gets better, and that's how we stay excited and alive. Fourth, even if your work isn't valuable to you at this moment in time, it could be very valuable to someone else down the line. Being purely monetarily motivated, which, it's not the main focus of this, being purely monetarily motivated, someone might be willing to pay for something that you don't value, but they do. But beyond money, it can also inspire someone else in their art journey or enrich their life in a way that you didn't anticipate. So the artwork you in your mind might put down can inspire someone else immensely. And also, like, monetarily, someone could buy your old work. And finally, your old artwork is worthwhile because it's a bit of work that created a little extra something in the world. If it's physical, you have physically and permanently altered something and made a mark on the world by changing one tiny part of it. And even though not all of us become millionaires off of our artwork or sell our pieces at like Christie's or whatever, we have made small changes that together gradually change the world and bring it to its next step. So your old work contributed to where you are now, but of the people who have seen it, they've also been impacted by your art and where it's taken them and where it's taken you. So I hope you have enjoyed this drawing. It's one of the pieces that I've looked back on and cringed hard at. There are parts of it that aren't super well done, and my experimenting ended up not being what I was hoping it would be. But considering these things, it was a practice piece. I was literally testing out these materials to use in Inktober and what I wanted to do with them, so it succeeded in the intention of the drawing. I had to make sure the paper, ink, and watercolors all worked together, which they did, to an extent. The paper didn't love the watercolors, so I nixed that for the rest of Inktober for the most part. But it was also a point in time where I was nervous about filming my artwork, and I can see that. I don't know if you can see it looking in this drawing. There were parts of it that I was nervous and hesitant to do just because of, I was filming, so I needed to make sure everything was good, and I didn't let myself breathe. Now, that doesn't make that piece invaluable. It's an example of how I have been very nervous about sharing artwork. I have been very nervous about the setup behind everything and all the millions of working parts and filming YouTube videos or doing anything like that. But it's a spot that I'm moving through and learning to better handle so that I can progress as a person and become, this big, shiny, glowy person of who I want to be, but it's helped me move towards who I want to become. I have a visual record of how my art has progressed over time, and I can see that lining up with who I am over time. Some people see artwork as a self-portrait. If you've made art for a little bit, people can start to recognize your style. So every piece of art you make is a tiny self-portrait of who you are and how you see the world. Even if you're doing a portrait of someone else, yourself is still going into that artwork. So, in conclusion, thank you for coming to my TED Talk. You are an awesome, awesome creative person. Even if you don't do visual art, maybe you do something else creative, or maybe you have an accounting job. There's creativity somewhere in your life, and I would like to encourage you to not be hard on yourself, on your old work and things you've done previously, because they have all led to the point where you're at, where we are in the world, and it's going to take us to the next place where you are and where we are. So, I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you would like to see more, go ahead and leave a comment down below and tell me about how you felt about your artwork. And leave a like, subscribe if you want to stay up to date and want to boost my video in the algorithm. There will be a link in my bio to all of my social media and places you can find me online. So if you click on that, you can go to my webpage and it has a whole list of all the places you can find me. And I hope you have a wonderful day, and I will see you next time.